How is screenplay structure different from outlining a screenplay?
Oh, I actually don't think it's different at all. Your structure should be there from the beginning. And if you're outlining from the beginning, you should be able to follow your structure there. To me, the biggest difference is, in my opinion, I look at a beat sheet like one-liners of your biggest moments. And then I look at an outline of fleshing that out so that now you know exactly what's happening in every single scene, not necessarily just those big beats, even though for some people that's all they need. But now you start to see the connecting beats that get you from the large beats to the next large beats. And then the screenplay is actually the creative part of writing out the scene. Right? So that's how I explain it to my students. Some people don't make beat sheets. Some people just make outlines. Some people don't make outlines and they just make beat sheets. And some people just write the screenplay. You have to figure out what's best for your process. In my opinion, you want to do some work before you get to that screenplay because the white page is intimidating. And if you don't know where you're going, it will eat you alive, right? So just like with your Google Maps, you got to put in the address and know what you're following. Even if you decide, okay, I'm going to shut it off now. I kind of know where I'm going. I don't have to keep looking at my GPS. Great. Same thing for your beat sheet or your outline. So for me, I usually use the Pixar formula as my beat sheet. I love the Pixar formula. If you're looking for one, you can go Google it. Now, I've added some things to my Pixar formula for my students because there's some more emotional work I want them to do before they, get past this point. But basically, it asks you about the beat sheets, not the beat sheets, the big beats starting at Once Upon a Time. And now you have this layout of what your story is that you can post next to your computer or wherever it is you want to put it so that you always know where you're going. Because as creatives, we will veer off the road. And that's how we end up with Uncle such and such's story that never makes it back to where it's supposed to be. So if you have your outline or your beat sheet or your Pixar formula or whatever it is that you're using, you always have something to come back to go, oh yeah. Because you also have, another uncle who's like, where was I? What part was I on? Blah, 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 blah. Well, now you don't have to ask anyone. It's right here. You've written it down. You know where you're going. And because every scene is supposed to be cause and effect, what happens in this scene is because of what happened in that scene. Then looking at that beat sheet lets you know these are the scenes that I need to get to the next beat. And these are the scenes that I need to get to the next beat because you know that the point is I need to get from A to B to C to D to E, whatever. For some people, they only need to know A, G, M, and Z, right? I need to know A through Z. So my outlines are long. My outlines can be 60 pages long if I'm writing a feature. And if it's like I did one, and I want to say it was somewhere between 30 and 50 pages long because it was a feature and it was science fiction. So there was a lot of stuff and rules that you have to figure out. And if you don't know the answers to those questions, you don't want to get to the page because then you can kind of get lost in the sauce. But some people don't need everything written out. I like it all to be written out because I also do my revising in the outline. So as I start writing the screenplay and new things do come, because the outline doesn't have to it's not in concrete, right? So new things do come. Oh, that's great. That's good. What you now have to realize though is that new thing is going to affect the outline, what's coming next, maybe what came before it. So now you can go back to the outline and go, okay, I got this new thing. So let me move this, copy and paste, move that around, blah, blah, blah. And now you can see what the new story looks like without having to do it in the screenplay, which takes a lot longer. Believe me, I've done it, right? So I utilize my outline throughout the entire process, which is why it's so much longer. But back to your original question, the structure is there. That's why you're outlining. Structure needs to be there. If you're outlining and there is no structure, your screenplay won't have any structure. So the outline tells you what you know and what you don't know if you're outlining correctly. I'm actually in the middle of teaching my outlining class right now. It's called Idea to Story 2.0. I have it online for people to purchase to do it at their own pace, but then I do it once a year where you get me live. And so we're now going through all of those moments because I feel that if you have an effective outline, then you will write your screenplay far more efficiently. And so I give them workbooks and worksheets that they can do throughout, that they can do with any project they're doing. but mostly so they can eventually figure out what their process is, because they all may decide, I don't need this worksheet, I don't need that, I don't need to do this outline. But if I do this thing, this is the thing that I need that helps everything to open up. So I'm just trying to help them to figure out what their process is while teaching them structure, and then hoping that they decide to do outlines forever, but they may not.
So that's kind of a go at your own pace, you said?
I have two
You have two
versions of it,
versions.
right?
Okay.
So the first idea of the story is go at your own pace. You get all of the videos, all of the worksheets, etc., and you can just watch them on your own and, figure it out as you go. And if you have any questions, then you can sign up for kind of like an office hour thing with me, and then I'll kind of talk you through your homework. If you sign up for the live version, which I only do once a year, then we spend 2 or 3 hours of lecture every week, and then 45 minutes to an hour of just one-on-one talking about your story. Because if you take a screenwriting class, a lot of the times you're intaking the general information, but you're not translating it to your story. So the only way that I know that they actually learned what social proof was is if I start talking to them about their characters in social proof. I only know if they really understand an inciting incident if I'm talking to them about their inciting incident and what information we got during the normal before the inciting incident, so on and so forth. And so I think people enjoy that part, because then they start to realize, oh yeah, I don't know, right? And it's like, yeah, so you can't go to the blank page yet because you don't know. But learning that you don't know is just as helpful, because now you know what holes need to be filled before you get to the page.
When a writer is outlining a screenplay, does that mean they're creating structure at the same time?
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what that means. They should be looking to understand what scenes make up my normal. And when I say normal, that means the everyday life of these characters, whether the camera showed up or not. Like, we're all living our normal lives every day. So your characters are people who are doing whatever it is they do. For an action film, that means we're probably going to open in action, because in their normal lives, they're already a police officer, firefighter, ex-military, whatever it is they are, right? So now you're asking yourself in the outline, what scenes am I using to show my character's normal life, right? Until we get to the inciting incident, which is the thing that's going to crash into that normal life, create change, therefore causing a goal or a problem. So you have to ask yourself, what do those scenes look like? What's that sequence of the inciting incident? What is the inciting incident? How does it make my protagonist feel? All of these great questions. And then you're going to start to figure out, well, what is the debate? Is there a debate? Do they have to decide to go on this journey, or is it so urgent that no matter what, they're going on the journey? Then you have to figure out, what do those scenes look like, right? Because you know that there being a debate. What's the debate? Who are they debating with? Where are they debating? Why are they debating, right? You get to figure all of that out. So the same is true throughout the entire screenplay, but in the outline, you're putting in all of the structure, all of those big beats, but asking yourself, what are the scenes? How do I visually show this beat? Because 1 million people can probably tell you the inciting incident is a car crash. Great. Where were they going? What were they doing? Who else is in the car? Where did the car crash happen? Did the ambulance come, or did they stay there by themselves and, pass away? Or did, they end up getting out? Did random people on the side of the road come pull them out? Like, what is the scene, right? And so in the outline, you get to start asking yourself what those scenes are and putting them down, not in, screenplay format, but just the information of they were driving their child to the nursery when they got hit by a semi truck, whatever, that came through the light. And then we cut to the jaws of life getting them out. That's the information you need in your outline, so that when you get to your screenplay, you can write it all beautifully, however it is you're going to write it.
Well, if we take something maybe that's less dramatic, so if we go back to our sort of metaphorical Pam character, who's like this office administrator, everybody needs her. Now she's remote working. Her phone is buzzing all the time. She has no separation between her job and her life. But then maybe the inciting incident, because she's going to find this other job, which she'll moonlight during office hours, and they won't know it because she'll have a second computer. Maybe she meets a woman in a store, and they just have a fun exchange talking. And she says, what do you do? And she says, oh, I'm, an office administrator. And the other woman does these surveys, right? And she's kind of fascinating. There's something a little interesting about her. So she goes, hey, give me your email and all. So then maybe that's where,
Yep.
and she sees this woman and she's kind of intrigued by her because she's just different. And Pam always does the right thing. And this woman's a little bit rebellious, a little bit interesting. And maybe that's the incident. So
Yeah.
it's not the jaws of life, but it's something.
Yeah, something is changing her normal. Her normal is I'm working at home from Zoom. Every single day, I'm answering the calls and I got to get dressed from here up so that I can be present when they need me, blah, 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 blah. Today for lunch, I decided to go for a walk. And while I'm on that walk, because I go into the store to buy my lunch or whatever, I meet this person. That person just changed her life. So that's the inciting incident. And that small information is what's in your outline. Then you'll flesh that out to actually be, full scenes and however it is you describe them and the action and the dialogue and blah, blah, blah. That's the screenplay. But in the outline, you say, Pam's working from her desk all the time. She's dressed from here on up, blah, 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 blah. She's always answering the phone, la, la, la. And today she decided to go for a walk for lunch and she bumps into insert person.
Right.
Right? That's what you would have in your outline.
Okay, so that would be the inciting incident if it wasn't as dramatic where there was a full action
Yeah,
scene.
the inciting incident can be the smallest thing. Like comedies don't have huge inciting incidents. Romantic comedies have a breakup or meeting the other person or, whatever it is. But whatever that thing is, it's different. Because if it's not different, why am I here? I'm not here to watch people's everyday lives. I have my own life. I can go watch my friends' lives. You know what I mean? I am here because something is changing for them. And I now need to watch them to struggle through it, grow through it, whatever is going to happen on that journey. That's why I'm here. So there has to be an inciting incident. Something has to come in and make change, cause problems, cause a goal that needs to be achieved.